Yesterday I announced that I'm starting a campaign addressing depression, addressing mental health and drug abuse, drug addiction in members of Western Kind, helping members go free of this, to heal themselves of the underlying trauma, the anti-white trauma, which is the direct cause of these issues in members of Western Kind. Because that's a matter of fact, drugs can't cure this. Only going free of the anti-white narrative can cure this.
The abuser acts in a dominating way and tries to scare and isolate you as a way of control. It can be done through abusive words and statements, threats, and violent body language on a regular basis or whenever the abuser feels like. The earlier you start experiencing emotional abuse, the more catastrophic the effects will be on your brain. According to the Grady Trauma Project by the Emory University School of Medicine, participants who were abused in their childhood had 12-fold higher level of impact in their DNA's physical structure than those who experienced abuse in adulthood. The New York University Medical Center found that emotional abuse leads to chronic stress, which releases the stress hormone cortisol. This not only damages but also prevents the development of the hippocampus, the primary area of the brain associated with memory and learning. This can result in severe anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD in emotionally abused victims. According to the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke, survivors of childhood trauma, including emotional abuse, have an underdeveloped hippocampus and may experience the same levels of PTSD as military veterans. Another Atlanta study found that the trauma of childhood emotional abuse on women affected the medial temporal lobe and the prefrontal cortex, which are associated with processing emotions, behavior, and self-awareness. Emotional abuse not only makes the survivors unable to positively experience feelings, but also makes them vulnerable to emotional outbursts. It also led to weaker connections between various sections of the brain, probably as a result of self-preservation. It also affected their ability to express their emotions or respond in a normal, healthy way. Emotional abuse and neglect, especially during childhood, has many other negative effects on how our brain develops. It reduces the size of corpus callosum, which is associated with impulses, emotions, and arousal. The size of the cerebellum gets decreased, which affects coordination and motor skills. Cortisol levels either become excessively high or low, that has significant negative effects on our health. Excessive activity occurs in the amygdala, which determines our reactions to threats and stressful situations. In most cases of abuse, the victim is usually not aware that they are being abused mentally and emotionally. If you believe you are being emotionally abused, here are some common behaviors to look out for: name calling, humiliation, controlling behavior, aggressive language, invasion of privacy, blame, isolation, shame, unpredictable behavior, subtle threats, gaslighting. When we experience emotional abuse and maltreatment, our brain functions in different ways to protect itself. This can prevent us from experiencing emotions in a healthy way, even when we're not in a traumatic situation. But you can recover from this, and it is possible to repair the damage. We can learn different cathartic coping mechanisms to create and re-establish neural connections.
Quote, "Suicide is the ultimate white flight," close quote. My friend stopped dead in his tracks and stared at me soberly, finally saying, quote, "That's exactly what it is." I see such a positive change in everything we do and how we feel about ourselves. It's just been wonderful. A 30-year-old Westman has found, because of going free, for the first time in his life, that he should have no white guilt. It was beautiful to witness the moment when he realized the harm being done to him. And thank you for your work you have done to help white people. I've used some of the stuff you taught me with my mother and brother and sisters, and they have helped their kids and families go free.